Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Kinprint. For all your company's promotional needs, they do it all. Apparel, promotional products, using the highest quality brands. They do logo design, signage, and printing. Kinprint will promote your brand with excellence. Visit kinprint.ca. What's going on, folks? Welcome to Got Your Back post-game edition. Oh, yes, we're up nice and fast tonight. Oilers probably gave you a little bit of a scare, hey? You thought maybe they broke it with those new D pairings. You were thinking, what the heck? Change them back! Change them back! They sort of did. And they managed to eke out a win against the Anaheim Ducks. Jason Strudwick standing by. We're going to break it down. Got Your Back is always brought to you by Sherwood Buick GMC. Thrilled to announce that thanks to your unwavering support, once again, #1 volume GMC dealership in all of Canada. And that's because of your loyalty. So they would like to say thank you very much. Go see Phil and the crew just off Baseline Road on the way into Sherwood Park. They got a streamlined buying system, streamlined finance system. They've got stock on the lots. Just a great dealership experience. Check them out online at www.gmcpod.com. I am in our mobile long shot studio here tonight. Long shots all game days, happy hour specials all day, $5 long shots lager. Struddy, how are you tonight, my friend? Struds, you there?
Muted, Strug.
I said, yo, I'm good. What's up with you guys?
Yo, there he is. Hey, Steve, way to be on the ball there, buddy. Way to be on the ball. Good, man. Good. So I made the drive out to Saskatoon today. I'm out here visiting my son, who works out here at the local CTV station. He's a young news reporter there. That's a drive, Struds, that you could nod off on real easy if you're not perky enough for it, man. That's a 2-lane road the entire way.
I'll tell you what you got to do. That's a 2 Diet Coke ride and a bag of Spitz. That gets you through those 5 hours pretty good. That's generally what I do. Diet Coke after you get to, maybe Vegreville.
Yeah.
Pick up the Spitz in Lloyd, pound another Diet Coke after that. That gets you there. Keeps you awake, and then the right tunes, you're good to go.
So you go Spitz on the road, hey? Steve Taylor, by the way, manning the controls in Kelowna. Are you a Spitz guy when you drive too, Steve? Like, I did it for a while, you guys, and then I made the mistake of actually reading the labels on one of those bags. Have you you get like a year's worth of sodium in half a bag of one of those bags of Spitz?
Yeah, that's not really a concern to me. They're delicious. Yeah.
That's why it's worth it.
Yeah, well, high blood pressure, bad cholesterol, all that. I'm not exactly a picture of health, but there's certain things. It's like it's just a bridge too far. Like crazy amounts of sodium, but it keeps you awake, kind of keeps you alive. I ended up just going with Nana's cookies. Nana dropped off some cookies before I left, right. So I probably had crushed 4 or 5 of the peanut butter cookies, and I went with the caramel macchiato, lactose-free medium caramel macchiato from Starbucks to get me through. It's ready.
Yeah, it sounds like you went high calories rather than high sodium. So I can see why you'd make that choice. Like, I'm sure they're both delicious. Obviously, your health was at the very forefront of your thought.
Lactose-free, though, Struddy. You didn't hear that.
Sorry.
Macchiato was lactose-free.
Yeah. That was for my tummy. Okay, very good. Yeah, fair enough. I suddenly see the kind of double standard in the last couple of points I just made, fellas. Yeah. Steve, we'll check in with you in a little bit, buddy, for our Ask Us Anything segment. Good to see ya. And we're going to get to our breakdown here in just a moment. Before we do, though, just wanted to take a quick mention, Struddy. Tough day in our industry yesterday and today. I'm sure you saw it all over social media, right? Obviously, some pretty significant cuts made by Bell. I've worked for this company for 20 plus years, and these days are never easy. Some fantastic colleagues, some amazing people ended up, with their jobs coming to an end. And it's just really, really tough to see. So our thoughts are with all of those who've been affected by this. So many talented people, so many wonderful people. Business can be tough sometimes, and we're thinking of them today, Struddy.
Yeah, for sure. I reached out to a couple of buddies that found themselves on the outside looking in, and I remember when I went through it, and unfortunately, the nature of media is changing. So I think as an employee, and not just Bell, but any media company, things are changing. So the ground's shifting underneath you. So you kind of know what's coming. And when the moment comes, though, there's different feelings. There's feelings of embarrassment, or I wasn't good enough, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling these people you are, and there's value too, and it may not be where you're at just because of the changing landscape, but that was my message to the people I reached out to.
Yeah, I think that's extremely well said, my friend, and I definitely echo those sentiments. Lots of good people across the country, so thinking of all of them. In the meantime, we got a job to do tonight. The Edmonton Oilers, it wasn't a great start for them, but Evander Kane comes up big, Calvin Pickard comes up big, and they managed to eke out a win. So let's get to breaking it down, shall we? Brought to you by Adrenaline Diesel, where they specialize in heavy-duty truck and trailer repair, performance tuning, parts, and sales. They have 7 gigantic bays, and there's not much they can't figure out for you. Marty and his crew have extremely high standards. They'll leave your truck in great shape, like it's right out of the factory. Go to adrenalinediesel.ca. So, I don't know, Struds, what do you want to do here? Where do you want to start with this? Last night, we kind of called BS on those D pairings, and then lo and behold, they roll them out for the game tonight. I still can't figure out why they are doing this. And, they ended up making a subtle switch midway through the game there, changing Bouchard and Ekholm back. But I was surprised to see it. I can't figure out why they're doing it. And I didn't love the look of it early.
Yeah, well, let's start the very beginning of it. So they had a game Tuesday, and I believe Wednesday had a golf outing with some people. I think their owner was there, Daryl Cates, if I'm understanding it, and some others. So I'm guessing that was kind of like Schauger's trip to Saskatoon. Maybe not the healthiest decisions in those moments. So that's sometimes a tough game to kind of get up and running. And, I wasn't there, so I don't know, but I have been on those trips before, and they're pretty fun. So maybe the legs were a little bit heavy and they hadn't quite burnt it out. So I think that we have to start with that. And then you move to the change of the D. And I kind of wrestled this all day. Will he change it? Won't he change it? And if he does, why is he changing it? Yeah. And, the one thing I kept coming back to is the key piece, I think, was maybe Desharnais. Can Desharnais play those minutes? Now, he played just under 20 minutes tonight, which I'm guessing is a career high. I don't know that for sure, but I'm guessing that if not a career high, it's definitely at the higher end of the register of where he played. Can he play those kind of minutes? And he's a great story, and I love where he's at. I don't know that he's right now ready for that kind of jump up into that top 4 echelon. Because it's not just the defensive play, it's also the plays of making the puck and keeping the play alive. And he did an all right job, but consider the team they're playing against. Like at the end, it was him and Nurse out there to protect that lead. Great block leads to the goal by Kane. So what he has a goal, like he being Knobloch has a goal for this or a reason to explore this, and I'm trying to figure out what is it. And I came up with it's on Desharnais, that he's trying to figure out what he looks like in that spot.
So increasing Desharnais' responsibility, taking advantage of a player who seems to be ready for more and more all the time, and just giving an opportunity, kind of removing that minute ceiling to see what he can do with it, right? That I kind of understand. But you could do that with only changing 2 pairings. I don't know why he had to change all the pairings in order to give Desharnais a few more minutes. Why not just swap him and Ceci out and kind of see how that goes? Why would you mess with one of the best pairings in the league for the last 2 months? That's the part of this that I'm having a hard time with. I understand wanting to give him a look.
I like it.
And at the end of the day, they went back to Ekholm and Bouchard together. But it just seemed very, very dramatic a change for a team that had been doing nothing but winning games, had just had a really disappointing loss I just don't understand the need to shake it up right in that moment. So I don't know why all three had to change, Struds.
No, and you're not wrong. And then it's funny. We're trying to get to the same place. I'm saying why? What are they looking for? And you're saying why would they change something that works? And I agree with you. I don't. But he's got to have a goal. There's got to be a reason. And I just don't understand the reason behind it. What did we learn tonight? Well, I think we learned that Ekholm and Bouchard fit well together. I think we can agree with that. I don't think Kulak and Cece are bad together. And quite frankly, I don't think Nurse and Darnay are bad together. But it's not about whether they're good or bad together. It's, do you believe that these are the three that are going to get you through deep playoff run or into a deep playoff run? And as they're constructed, I'm not sure that's the one that's going to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we kind of start there because we were really fixated on it yesterday, but there was a lot more than just that happening in the game tonight. Not a great start for the Edmonton Oilers, and once again, Calvin Pickard steps in a role where he's not seeing a ton of action, has barely played the last little while, and sure, he made a few mistakes tonight, but Struds overall, for a team that didn't show up on time, I thought their goaltender did, and it was difference making.
It was huge. I thought he had a great game. Honestly, I thought he made some huge saves. I'm thinking early in the first, in the first period, there was a breakaway. There was a nice pass that had to make a quick pad save. Those could have both been goals. So he made some quality saves. Is there maybe a PK one he'd like to have back? Yeah, I think so. I think we could probably agree there's a PK one or two he'd like to have back. But at the end of the day, he did enough to get his team to win. And honestly, as a backup goalie, that's kind of your job. You're not expecting the backup goalie to steal you games. Mm-hmm. I thought he gave him enough saves to give him a chance to win a game tonight, and until the team kind of got rolling and kind of pushed Anaheim out of the game.
Yeah, and overall on the night, I thought he had some really nice saves, like some high quality, difficult saves. I thought he made through the night. And more than enough to make up for the mistake or two that he made here or there. But so Pickard, to me, real big difference maker in this game. Now, while the Oilers did not start on time, and I didn't like the way they played early on, the one thing I did like about their game, Struds, was that they seemed like a team that knew how to shift it into a different gear to go ahead and grab it. Like there was a maturity about the way they took this game over after understanding they almost blew it in the early going. Am I overthinking that, or did you see that too?
Okay, so I made that point. What point of the game did you see that?
I would say there was a shift late in the first where I thought they had a real solid shift. We saw McDavid throw a pretty big hit there. I think maybe sending a message through his lineup. I would say late in the first, early in the second.
Okay, you're a lot more forgiving than I am. I'm going to go all the way to the third and that power play. I don't believe we've seen that power play, or plower play, either one.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the power play have that urgency and kind of aggressiveness in a while. That power play, the puck was zinging around, and I'm like, they're scoring here. There's no way they're not scoring.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that was Draisaitl's goal on the power play. Yeah. The way they're hunting pucks, they were zipping it around. The Ducks just kept their diamond box, whatever 1-1-1, whatever 1-1-2. It just kept shrinking. And I haven't seen the power play look like that in a while. They looked like predators, and I don't think we've seen enough of that from the Oilers recently. So two things. That's where I thought I saw them like, okay, we're going to get this with this right now. We're going to show these guys. But two, I think that's a great sign for the power play as they move forward, because they haven't looked or felt that way in a while, in my opinion.
That's interesting. And I agree with you. Like I agree with you the way that power play looked. It went next level. Like they were just kind of like leveling up. And I had that same feeling that you did. But to me, that wasn't the first time in the game where they showed signs of being a mature group that understood, okay, didn't have our best stuff tonight, but there's a certain speed level, work ethic level, tenacity level that's going to be required to get this game. And I thought they did a good job of adjusting and going out and getting it. So did you not see some of those signs a little bit earlier on in the game as well? What did they outshoot them, 12-2 in the second period? Something like that?
Now, I have to go back and check on the chances for that. They had the good chances, but
Mm-hmm.
it other than Leon's line. Now, I could probably count on one or two fingers the really good chances they had in the first two periods. I'm thinking of Janmark.
Interesting.
There's Janmarks there. But even some of the ones like Connor's line had kind of around the side of the net. Those aren't massively difficult saves. And this isn't, I'm not criticizing Leon or Connor and his line mates, but they weren't great chances. Just because you're around them, that doesn't mean they're great chances. But I thought Leon's line had, good chances. Obviously, they scored. They only had the first two goals of the game. But the other lines were just kind of, I didn't think it reminded me a little bit against Vegas, how they were kind of on the outside and Ducks were kind of on the inside of the O-zone. So the one I think I liked is they didn't get away from their game. And then this is now a pattern we're seeing. They didn't start taking chances or really making bad decisions offensively to try to create something that isn't there.
Yeah. Interesting. So let's focus in on the Corey Perry adjustment on that line. He gets bumped up next to Leon Draisaitl and next to Evander Kane. Kane ends up with a hat trick here. And so a lot of the focus will be on him. But Struddy, there were very Corey Perry-like fingerprints all over both of Evander Kane's first two goals. Like, that was so Corey Perry, man, on both of them. So, we all saw the thing with the stick, but how about on the other one where he was the guy on the back track trying to disrupt things on the back check and then ended up being the one in the slot, creating havoc in front of the net when it went in. And then that sneaky play that would have driven Oiler fans absolutely through the roof. But now guess what, Oiler fan? He's doing it for your team. How you feeling about that tonight?
Well, I could tell Oilers fans are feeling when they were cheering him after scoring that goal because he's I wouldn't call that it's a really great in the rules. I think he was trying to he did try to slash him.
Greasy.
Stick.
It's so greasy.
It is. And he did try to slash this. I don't think he tried to slash out of his hand, but he did try to slash it. And I saw all those Oilers fans in that jersey just cheering away when Kane just walks out of the corner. Bad defending there by the Ducks, by the way. There's no reason that guy should walk out of the corner with the puck, right into a slot and rip a shot. And you could tell that he was rattled. Gibson, no stick. And they feel naked. It's like if I walked out into a West Hampton Mall buck naked, I'd feel completely uncomfortable. That's how goalies feel without sticks. Especially if it was cold in there. And they just it was incredible that they just how because I didn't think that was I thought he might try to shoot and beat him on the ice, but he didn't. He kind of it looked a bit in the air above the pad. So you know what? Corey Perry is disruptive. Then you could see it. I mentioned the other night, Perry and Kane together, they're going to net, they're pushing guys around, they're bullying guys. And the one time, Deonair was in there. So you got Perry, Kane, and Deonair pushing guys around the Ducks net. And I love that because that's just putting people in their place. When other lines comes out, it's just they've already been kind of ground and pounded a bit.
Signature style performance from Evander Kane tonight. I mean, and again, Gibson was definitely going to want at least one of those back. But 3 goals, the empty netter, and even the empty netter took some effort and took some get up and go, right? So I thought this was
where's that on the forecheck? That was lightning speed that when I'd like to see that a little more from the big man. I get it. Going for a hat trick is exciting, and I get it. And I'm not I don't want to be disrespectful, but that speed, he was a long ways away, and he beat that guy all the way up the ice and got it for his hat trick. Hats are flying. That speed, I know the level. So now the coaches know it. So if I'm his coach, I show him that, and then show maybe some of the forechecks say, hey, buddy, we need you on this as well. That same tempo. Because he had a great night tonight. There's no doubt about it. But now they see that as a coach, I'm like, hey, I expect that all the time, even when you're not going for the hat trick goal.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a great point. So what did you think of, we talk about these deep pairing switches. Did you see anything tonight that you would be interested in them re-racking in a really important game tomorrow night against the LA Kings? Like, are you re-racking 25 and 73 and just leave 14 and 2 for goodness sakes? But are you re-racking that other pairing?
So Darren A and CC aren't. So I know it's really Yeah, no, I did, because this is going to keep coming back to the same thing I've been saying for a while. They need someone who can move the puck crisper on that right side. And this isn't to be disrespectful of either 73 or 5.
No, yeah.
That is not their job. Those guys are not paid for that market. Their job is defending, and they do a good job. They're pretty good defenders. Well, they are good defenders, and they're big. They take up space, all those things. Good guys in the room, all the stuff you want. But they are not natural puck movers. So when you have 25, 73 out there with 97, it's a lot different than 97 out with 14 and 2.
Yeah,
and
good point,
so you just need someone to get that puck up. Just move that puck up and just kind of help out in that department. I know other people maybe want someone who's a little more something different, but that's what I want. I want that because that fuels, or that puts like rocket fuel into your offense, because the puck's moving up so much quicker. So if you tell me towards 73 instead of 5, I'm like, okay, that's fine. But it's not like you're switching out, something completely different for for that was already there. You kind of got the same thing. Like, is it really that different, Shogger? Like, is there much difference there? I think if you look at their point totals, I don't think they're outrageously different. So yeah, if you want to do it again, I'm not going to be, I don't want to have a real big problem with it. It's just the bigger picture is what I'd be focusing on.
If all of this, the grand design was to try and see how Darnay handled some more minutes against some different competition next to Nurse, I would understand and be in favor of that. I don't understand why they had to mess with the other pairing. That's the one. Yeah. And maybe in a week or two, I'll see if Knobloch will give me a little bit more perspective on that, or when they get back into town, I'll see if I can get some answers on that. But anyways, he ended up putting him back, right? It wasn't working. He put him back. He made the adjustment, and nice touch there. The Corey Perry bounce up the lineup worked as well. One not so nice touch by the coach, a couple of nice touches by the coach. He did say he broke even with his changes. Let's get to the UCAN Youth Services Relentless Player of the Game, local charity that helps vulnerable youth find employment. Their upcoming comedy night fundraiser, it is fast approaching, and we want to see you at one of the 6 comedy nights in March. There's a few tables left, tables for 10, and there are some individual tickets as well. The event is a blast. I've been to it multiple times. Great comedy, great atmosphere for a great cause. Go to ucan.ca for information and to grab your tickets. And if you tell them that Got Your Back sent you, you will get 20% off of your tickets. All the proceeds go directly towards helping our youth right here in our community. Struds, who are you going to tap for the Relentless Player of the Night?
I could go one of two ways. I think that obviously Vander Kane would be a guy that would get it, but he got the first star, and I don't believe that this guy got the first star. Old Calvin Pickard.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with him. I think that he had some really nice saves early. Kind of kept his team in there, kept giving him a chance, and he just hung in there, and ultimately made enough saves to give his team a chance to get the win. So I'm going with old Calvin Pickard, the captain.
You know who I'm going to go honorable mention to on this night and the Relentless Player of the Game? How about Ryan Strome?
Yeah, he looked good.
He was looking good tonight, man. The feet look good. Like, he's not the fleetest foot guy, but taking it to the net, scoring goals, I mean, certainly no Ryan Spooner, but it was a heck of a. It was Spooner, wasn't it? That was that trade.
Well, I was talking about that trade tonight. Eberle for Strome, and then Strome for Spooner. Like, tough asset management there.
No question. Okay, that was the breakdown brought to you by Adrenaline Diesel. When we come back on the other side, we'll keep breaking this game down, maybe talk a little bit more in depth about Corey Perry. Also tonight on the podcast, going to give away another hat. We gave away our first one last night, and we have a winner, by the way. We'll do another trivia question tonight, another opportunity for you to win a hat and a $25 gift certificate, courtesy our good friends over at DeBoers. And we remind you that Struddy's appearances on the podcast, at least tonight, brought to you by Kinprint, helping you push your business brand to the next level and making great hats here on Got Your Back. Visit kinprint.ca to see all that they have to offer. And we're going to give away one of these Kinprint beauties coming up in a couple of segments. Quick break and tons more left on the show. Say goodbye to unruly hair and hello to a smooth and silky back in minutes with Backscape. Shave your back solo with no mess with Backscape's water-resistant long handle and patented 6-blade design, leaving you with a no-mess shaving experience all in less than 5 minutes. Shop now for 40% off select kits just for you, our Got Your Back listeners. Use promo code GYBPOD on checkouts and make 2024 your year to elevate your grooming routine.
If you own or operate a business, you know the value of a great employee. Just ask Schauger. Pathfind is here to help you find your next star player to help take your business to the next level. Pathfind can help with recruitment, career transition, leadership coaching. They truly have your whole team covered. Building you a championship caliber roster, find your team's path forward at pathfind.ca.
Winter is upon us, so why not make the best of it? Marmot Basin Ski Resort is where it's at. Ski half price every day, no blackout periods. Pick up your escape card for $99 and make winter fun more affordable. Half the price, all the powder. Get yours at www.skimarmot.com.
All right, time now for takeaways brought to you by Martin Motorsports. Clear the way with a Can-Am Pro Mount steel plow on the front of your quad. Yes, it is the perfect partner for snow removal. This winter, contact the crew at Martin Motorsports South or West Edmonton to get a plow today. Take a look at those beauties, Struds. You want to move some snow, buddy? You're a snow removal specialist? How about that, Struds?
I love that blade. God, I could move a lot of snow with that.
Oh, man. You could do some serious plowing, buddy, with something like that. Oh, yeah. That's some high-end stuff right there. Go check out Martin Motorsports. It's more than just fun, right? Functionality, too, in these vehicles of theirs. Struds, let's continue the conversation. Maybe a little bit more on Corey Perry. You know, we wondered how long it would be before he got a bump up the lineup. Interesting, they give him an opportunity back in Anaheim. Not that he hasn't played there since he left, but still, you know, there'll be a little pep in his step playing back in Anaheim where he spent so many years. But he gets to look alongside Draisaitl and alongside Evander Kane. Now, one of the issues with Perry was always going to be his foot speed. You know, how he looked, if he could keep up with other top six forwards out there and such. How would you evaluate kind of the way he was moving? And if he looks like pace-wise, he's going to be able to handle it even with a bit of a kick-up in pace at playoffs. What do you think of the pace?
Yeah, the pace is going to go a lot higher, obviously, when you get to round 2, 3, 4, and hopefully in the fourth would be great. Corey Perry, I think he understands where his game at. He's not going to be the guy that's going to be flying through the neutral zone with the puck. Mm-hmm. But if you notice tonight, I believe that he, Kane, and Draisaitl had an understanding that if you are uncertain where to put the puck, I'm going to be behind the net, because he'd slide off to behind the net and the puck would be rimmed around to him. And now it becomes a ground and pound style of game where speed doesn't matter. It's strength and something he's really got. He's really heavy on his stick, but he's good at puck protection, as is Leon, as is Kane. So now you have three big bodies that can all score. They can all make plays. They're heavy on their stick and they like puck protection. Mm-hmm. And that's where Perry's going to excel. So I've talked about this with Leon and playing with other players before, but Leon is going to have to understand how to help his line mate, in this case Perry, show and do what he can the best. Perry can't play in a track meet. He's not. It's not his style. Now it's not his style. They've got to get it over the blue line, below the top of the circles, and just ground and pound and hang on to it and make plays. You know, you kind of look at you talk about slashing the puck out of the goalie's stick, or stick out of his hand. He did. But the puck goes in the corner. Kane and Perry win the battle. Yeah. Kane drags it out of the corner and shoots it to the net. That's not off the rush. I know it's relatively soon from upon entering the zone, but that's not off the rush. And I think that's how best to maximize what Perry does well.
Yeah, I agree with you, buddy. Let's get to some comments in our Weiss Johnson YouTube stream. Check out their scratch and dent sale, by the way, up to 20% off units with minor imperfections, and all in-stock air conditioners, 25% off right now. I know with the snow and the cold, you're not necessarily thinking about AC. This is exactly the time for you to think about air conditioning because of great deals like this from Weiss Johnson. The sales end February 15th. Visit www.weiss-johnson.com for details. Jingle. So I don't know if I'm the only one that hasn't heard this nickname yet, but Rye Guy is in on the stream, Struds, and he has named that line, Kane, Draisaitl, and Perry, calling it the KD Perry line. That's not bad, man. That's actually pretty good. KD Perry.
I do like that. That's pretty damn good. Yeah,
that is actually really good.
That's a big step up from the Mushroom Man or the Marshmallow Guy. What did they call Darren A last year?
Oh, Seaweed Man.
Seaweed Man. Yeah.
Seaweed Man. Hey, Steve, do you have time to throw a quick poll up in the chat?
Yeah.
Do we want to keep this Katy Perry thing or keep searching for something else? Maybe just put that. I think we might have this line named. Yeah, if it's going to be a thing. I wonder if everybody else likes it as much as we do, though. So chime in on our Weiss Johnson YouTube stream here and let us know what you think. Pickard big early, says Boba Fett. Lots of breakdowns and odd man rushes with discombobulated. Good word. He spelled it right. New D pairings. Tender came up big to keep this game in reach, for sure. X-Ray says of the Katy Perry line, I like that they forced themselves to battle. It should help against LA. There were a few times, I think you made the point about how, it might get a little tiresome for Leon Draisaitl. It's like, seriously, guys, we're doing this again? All right. I'll grab someone.
Gets in him. I think it brings emotion in. Yeah. I like it. Why would Leon not like it? I think it actually takes the attention away from him. Because you have two guys that are they in the top 10 most disliked players in the league, Kane and Perry?
Yeah, they're definitely in the conversation, bud.
Yeah, and that's not. I'm not saying like that as to be mean to them, but
no, I know exactly.
They are annoying. They're annoying, and you just want to punch them in the face. And so I think it actually takes the attention away from Leon. I really do. Like I thought Leon had a lot of jump tonight. I thought he was playing well and skating well. Like I think it's kind of fun for him. I love to get the truth serum into him, but I do think that when there's a scrum, no one's coming looking for Leon. Everyone wants to get a piece of Kane and Perry.
I don't know if it was my favorite play of the game from Corey Perry tonight because the knocking the stick out of the tendee's hand is a pretty sage, just rat grease ball move that's just really quite amazing. So there's that. But the one that I loved was in the last minute of play when they're on the ice. And Calvin Pickard kind of screws up and turns the puck over and a little bit of pressure, a little bit of a scramble in their end. Did you see the play Perry made behind his own net? Bit of a spinorama there to free himself up and give himself some space with the puck and helped clear it.
Yeah.
Do you see that, Struds? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. I do. But ballsy. Again, but it's ballsy, but that isn't a speed move. You can still have good edges. You can still be strong on your stick. But it's not a speed move. Let's go back to Hyman's goal. When Connor skates all the way from the middle of the ice, picks a puck up off the wall, skates all the way up the wall, cuts across to the other side of the ice, then passes back to Hyman. Corey Perry's not doing that. Quite frankly, he probably never did it that fast. And quite frankly, no one's ever done it that fast. But that's not how Corey is going to help this team. That's how Connor does it. And Hyman understands, I've got to skate in a very straight line to the net with my stick on the ice, knowing that my buddy Connor is going to pass me the puck. So everyone's got their role, and it's different ways. As a defender, you have to understand how to defend against different players and how they play. And I like that they have now some contrast in their line, because that, Connor's line is different than the Leon line, is different than the third line. And I think the fourth line is still kind of, just still trying to, not that they're playing bad, but I think they're still going to be a work in progress. So the first three lines all look different to me. And the third line's big, fast, and can get to the net, or should get to the net. Second line is mucky.
Yeah, 100%. They're gonna muck it out. James Burrell says when Perry knocked the stick out of Gibson's hands, it made me know just how smug Ducks fans felt for all those years. That's the thing. I like the fact that Oiler fan is experiencing this because Perry is one of those players where, I mean, opposition fans obviously can't stand him. But what has always been said about Corey Perry, same with Brad Marchand, same with a bunch of players, Cal Clutterbuck, whoever you want to name, you love him if he's on your team. Hate to play against him, would love him on your team. And now there's little tiny things that are going to happen along the way here to remind Oiler fan.
100%. You just nailed it. But he's on your team, and he's going to do those things that help make him successful. He's been on a lot of winning programs. Junior, World Juniors, NHL. Like, it just, I don't believe that's an accident or luck.
Yeah. Another suggestion from Brandon Farrell, the Pissy Boys, on naming the line. Don't know if that'll stick.
Yeah.
So Corey Perry's promotion meant Warren Fogle gets supplanted on that second line. And then I'm sure you noticed, Rez, by the end of the game, Connor Brown was in fact skating on the third line ahead of Warren Fogle. A couple of tough handles for Fogle tonight. Didn't seem to have the confidence in the hands there. What did you see from him? And what did you think of Brown there?
Well, I thought Connor Brown was going to score his first goal tonight. He had that breakthrough, and you're like, I want to score so bad, and I feel like it's my own son. I just like, please score. Just get one in there. But with Fogle, there's a little bit of a shift when you go from playing with Leon to now playing with Ryan McLeod.
Yeah.
That game becomes very north-south. That game is very attacking. That even Ryan McLeod, you don't have to give him the puck the same way that you would with Leon. So it's a little bit different. I think that as a winger, you can be more comfortable carrying that puck with Ryan McLeod than you do with Leon. So maybe a little bit of adjustment there for Fogle, and maybe just trying to get Brown a little bit extra juice to try to get him over the top, because my God, he's got to score. It's just got to come. I feel so bad for him.
You've been calling his first goal like every other game for the last year. Like I got a feeling. I
I know. I'll say I got a feeling for tomorrow. I got a feeling from tomorrow. Come on.
You think it'll be tomorrow? No, I agree with you. Connor Brown's getting his first goal tomorrow.
Let's just all will it. Let's all will it to existence.
Everybody just say it. Let's just make it happen. How about Matthias Janmark in the almost goal? That was something.
Yeah, it's so slippery it was. He slips it underneath the D-man stick, picks it up on the other side, then goes past the goalie, turns and throws a backhander. I thought it was in the net. He had a wide open cage there and just hits the wall, the post, and I guess hits the wall. Yeah.
What do you think of Dylan Holloway tonight?
That shot, that one-timer shot, who passed him that?
McDavid.
Newt? Oh, McDavid. Yeah, there you go. That was a great shot. And I probably, if not his best, one of Gibson's best saves of the night. That was a really hard shot. And that looked like a shooter's shot. You know what I mean? Like someone, it wasn't just lucky. He got in position really quick, opened up, bang, and it was on the net. And I really thought that should have been a goal. Really, really nice save. So that was a nice moment. I thought he was skating well. I didn't think he quite had the puck on his stick as much as we've seen in other games. But I think he's trending in the right direction. And it does hurt a little bit. Maybe Fogle wasn't quite firing either on the other side. I thought the line looked better with Perry on it than it did with Fogle. Yeah. But that's a bit unfair to Fogle.
Neil Garrity's on the stream here kind of defending Brown and Janmark a little bit. He made the comment that he does not care if either of those guys score this year. He said he could care less. The coach appreciates what those guys are doing. This falls into the category of players having roles and penalty kill and defensive play and all that, Struds. I understand what Neil is saying, but I'm sorry, I don't agree. You need to have contributions from players through your lineup. You cannot have guys that absolutely do not do anything offensively for months and months on end. I don't think that's acceptable on a championship team. You need to have better players that can contribute more often than that. And I think these guys are capable of that. And Brown in particular is just not doing it. But I don't think it's okay. I disagree.
No, they don't think it's okay. Like they being those individual players. They want to score.
Of course they do. Of course.
It's a big deal. And so
but you get the point, though. Neil's making the point that it shouldn't matter because they're doing other things. Yeah. I'm saying I get that, but no. You need people to contribute. You can't have no shows offensively for months on end.
Well, Matt, so if Janmark scores on that, it probably is a different game. Not that they lost it. And if Brown can score on that one good chance he had, or two good he had, it changes the game as well. So it does make a difference. When you get those goals from the fourth line, it really changes the tone of a game. Big time. Like, yeah, a massive. So, yeah, I think that I understand the sentiment he was trying to say, but in principle, I don't agree with it. You need to get some goals out of those guys.
Championship teams get contributions from even their best penalty killers, and you don't have guys that go months and months being dry here. The fourth line will be interesting. The Ducks got a couple of guys that would be interesting to see in Oilers uniforms. We'll get into that, I'm sure, in podcasts to come. That was Takeaways, brought to you by our good friends over at Martin Motorsports. Lots more to come on the podcast when we come back. Struddy and I don't take a lap. Stay with us.
Are you ready to elevate your moving experience? Trusted for over 100 years, Ferguson Moving and Storage are your partners in relocation, ensuring your journey is smooth and stress-free. And say goodbye to surprises with Ferguson's transparent flat rate pricing. Contact them now for a free moving quote and use the promo code Ferguson to receive $100 off your next move. Visit FergusonMoving.com and let them lift your expectations.
Long Shots Golf is the destination for both golf enthusiasts and sports fans. Top-of-the-line TrackMan simulators provide a highly entertaining and accurate golf experience, while a full-service sports bar loaded with big screens and scratch kitchen make it a truly unique destination. They have locations in Sherwood Park and Edmonton. Experience the best indoor golf and sports bar in town. Visit longshots.ca. That's longshots with a Z.ca.
Time to talk about your mortgage? It doesn't have to be a daunting conversation. With over 16 years in the industry, Maria Gallus with Maximum Mortgages knows how to make it easy. With access to dozens of different lenders, let Maria customize the perfect solution for you. Whether you're purchasing, refinancing, or renewing, or a first-time buyer, Maria's simplistic approach and expert advice will have you feeling confident you're in great hands, making informed decisions. Take the stress out of your mortgage journey. Contact Maria Gallus at mortgagesbymaria.ca. That's mortgagesbymaria.ca.
Welcome back to the show. So Chris Sabunia,
oh boy,
we probably work him too hard, Struddy. Zuby, we know him and love him as here on the podcast. So I'm always encouraging him, like, look, you've got a fantastic cohort in Steve Taylor that does a great job on these podcasts. Zuby, take a night off and get some sleep, right? Because I don't know if you noticed it, Struds, he's been sick since like September. Yeah. He's had a cold.
Yeah, and he's so sick. Yeah.
Yet every podcast that he takes off, you know what he does? He sits on the stream. So Chris, and just so you folks know who are on the stream, he comes through his Growler Media Group. So this is what Zuby chimes in on the stream as he's watching the commercials, which, by the way, he produced them. Growler Media Group says, Long Shots golf commercial is a banger.
Commercial music, which he chose.
Well, commercial music is a banger. So he's sitting there, rather than going to bed and getting some sleep so that he shakes his hepatitis or whatever he's got, he's sitting on the stream complimenting his own music choices.
How's he able to type when he's ordering pizza all the time?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Zuby, we love you, buddy. But go to bed. Go to bed so that you have a fighting chance tomorrow night. And by the way, on the nights where we don't have podcasts, he's in one of those men's leagues where the games start at 11:45 p.m. and he gets to bed at 2 a.m. All right, time to take a lap, brought to you by Backscape. You can bid farewell to unwanted back hair solo in just 5 minutes with the fastest growing male grooming tool on the planet. Water resistant, rechargeable, long handled shaver. You can shave independently in any direction with no cuts, scrapes, bumps, no mess at all. Named the superhero of razors. Let Backscape have your back and tame that wild mane. Visit Backscape.com. Backscape.
I don't always shave my back, but when I do, I use Backscape.
That's not the tagline, Struds. That is not.
That's not it.
How long is it going to take to train you this? It's okay. Try one more time. You know what it is. Ready? Backscape.
Backscape. Love it.
No, say the tagline now.
I thought I was repeating. I thought that was one of those repeat after me.
We've been trying to get this right for a month. Stay
Smoother
smooth,
the
gentlemen.
better.
No, that's not it. Stay smooth, gentlemen.
Stay smooth,
Get in your deep voice. Okay, ready? Just a second. Backscape.
Backscape.
Oh my God. Chris or Steve, just do it. Steve, you do it with that nice deep voice you got. Ready? Backscape.
Backscape. Stay smooth, gentlemen.
Nice. See, that was good tones.
I think they might do that. I think they might the other one. I'm gonna send them a note. Hey, how about I don't always shave my back, but when I do, I use Backscape.
You're gonna send them a marketing note.
I've got time. I could send me the email after the show, Shogger.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna have some notes for you. I freaking guarantee that. All right, Struddy, let's take a lap, buddy. Where are we going?
Let's start with Sidney Crosby. Banged in his 577th goal of all time, tying Mark Recchi, number 21 all time. Pretty incredible. So he's 577. Yari Curry's 601. Dino Ciccarelli's 608, which I think is incredible. If you asked anyone for the top 25, that's a guy they would not get. Hall at 610, Iggy, Iginla, and Sakic at 625. So he's 48 more goals to get to, he'd be 16th place if he beats 625. He has this year or next year. I think he's going to get at least to 16th on the list. Just a guy who just doesn't seem to get tired or slow down. Sidney Crosby tonight, or tying Mark Recchi.
And this discussion comes up about NHL players going back to the Olympics, right? And it's taken too long, and everybody knows that. Everybody wants to see Sid and McDavid. This is a couple years away. Canada's got lots of good players, lots of good young players. Now, I think he's flat out just going to be there, right? I just don't think there's a doubt. But he did have to field some questions, Struds, about, how bad he wants to be there, and there's no guarantees. And he was the one that said it. He said it needs to be earned. It has to be earned. And, not that he needs more motivation. He wants to win cups, and he's a competitor. But watching Sidney Crosby keep himself in the conversation, keep himself relevant, I don't think he's just going to make that Olympic team. I think he'll be featured on it. I think he still has that much game left.
Yeah, they're not winning Stanley Cup. So I think Olympics, it's where his success is going to come from, right? Yeah. And that's not to kick Pittsburgh in the nuts, but that's just where they're at right now, right? They've got to figure something out.
Yeah, there's some dark times ahead for them, buddy.
Oh, darkness is coming. It is coming really quick. But think about when Sid, Malkin, Letang shut her down. There's no one behind them. There's no one else coming in. If I'm Jake Gensel, do I want to resign there, knowing that those guys are gone? And would I say 3 years? Is it 3 years fair to say for those guys? So are you signing an 8-year contract to know the last 5? You're playing with Ryan Rishaug and Jason Strudwick. I have a hard time seeing that happening.
Oh, interesting comment coming in here from Bob's your uncle. Says Sid has to be Captain Canada. Full stop. So let's think about this for a second. That's an interesting one. I don't know if I've heard that debate. Is Connor McDavid the captain of Team Canada that Sidney Crosby is on?
Do you think those guys care? I'll ask that question.
Well, I don't care if they care. I want to talk about the rest of us that are interested in it. I don't think they care.
No, but let me be clear. So I don't think that they care. So I honestly think that Connor McDavid would defer to Sidney Crosby and say, buddy, you've been here before. You've done it before. This is your time. I'll be whatever. I don't think they care. I really don't get that sense. So I think it'd be Sid.
Yeah. I think that's probably the case too. If it feels like he's going to play a role that's significant enough, right? If he's prominently going to be featured on that team versus, who knows in a few years, right? But I still think he's going to be there and he'll be very prominent. But that'll be interesting. Yeah. Where are we going for? Take a lap.
Number two, Dan Vladar put on IR today by the Calgary Flames. So that means that Jacob Markstrom he was already their guy. But up comes the heir apparent, Mr. Dustin Wolf. Don't call me Dusty. He's come up. He's played 5 games this year with the team. He's done a lot in the minors. This might be an opportunity for him to show what he can do. The Markstrom rumors are swirling. I saw him talk about a little bit. He's like, I'm not going to go to management. I'm happy here. And I this is what I feel listening to Markstrom's comments is that he doesn't want to be the guy to start this conversation, but so he doesn't want to be the bad guy. But if they come to him and say, hey, we can trade you to, I'll just use Colorado. I think it's unlikely, but Colorado,
sure.
Maybe there's a fit there. I think Craig is understanding. I think everything's going to be done in the right way. Maybe not before the trade deadline, maybe this summer, but yeah. So anyways, either way, Dustin Wolf called up, and I think this is good for that team to see what he can do.
Yeah. I mean, do you get ahead of it if you're Calgary? Do you just get that thing done? And I mean, they're collecting assets, they're making trades, they're wheeling and dealing. They're not ridiculous out of it or anything like that, but we just know what this year means for them. And you wonder with that, with that player, with that goalie, if what the return would look like, and if it is the time. Like, is it the time to just go ahead and do that?
How about, do they want to retain money? I guess would be one thing, because I think that'd be that would obviously make the return better. So I would want to retain money if I'm the GM. I would be happy to do that. But does my owner, who I understand isn't maybe all that thrilled about maybe an idea like that? So because there are teams, I think there's value, for a lot of value for him. And load up now, because again, you're 3 years away from your new arena. If you draft someone now that's high enough pick, that he could be on or close to joining your roster in those 3 years.
Sherry Frazee back in on the stream and says about our previous conversation, I think Sid gives it to Connor. He already said he'd play wing with Connor at center if he could.
Good point.
It'd be interesting. It'd be like, no, you take it. No, you take it. No. I'm going to need you to. No, you take it.
So the one that they won with Sakic, Lemieux, and Iggy, wasn't Lemieux the captain that year?
I want to say yes. I'm trying to picture it in my head.
Yeah,
but I can't recall.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. And so, listen, it's a great story either way. But if it was me, and I obviously am not Connor McDavid, I'd be like, buddy, I'm happy to play, beside you, but you're the captain. You're the guy, and my time will come. But you're the guy, so just wear. But
it's not like these guys decide.
I just think hockey players are like that.
But do these guys decide? Like, I mean,
you don't think there's a conversation? There's a conversation.
Or does management go, look, this is who it is. This is who it needs to be. This is who it is. Is that management? And maybe it matters who the manager is.
Yeah, I think you talk to him. I think you talk to both those guys. Like, if I was the coach, I'd say, okay, these are my two guys. Like Nathan McKinnon, incredible player. Cam McCarr, incredible player. But, they're not going to be the captain of that team. So you go to those two guys and say, hey, guys, I'm leaning towards giving the captaincy to this player. This is why. How do you guys feel? I think that's a great idea. Okay, great. Boom. We're out the door. Like, I don't think it really matters. But I do think I would defer to the older player who's been there out of respect, knowing my time's coming.
Nice. All right, good stuff. That was Take a Lap, brought to you by our good friends at Backscape. Another quick break here, and when we come back, Struddy's World. Stick around, lots more ahead on the show.
Okay, heroes, are you trying to tough it out through a sports or life injury right now? Trying to prove your mettle by grinding through, gritting your teeth? Well, Redefined Health is here to say it's time to come on in. At Redefined Health, they'll high-five you for your toughness and then get to work on helping you fix the problem. Helping athletes and heroes find better balance, performance, and injury prevention. Visit redefinedhealth.com. The Edmonton Sport and Social Club's spring season is set to go in May, and registration is just around the corner. Team up with your pals to play in slow pitch, beach volleyball, outdoor soccer, ultimate frisbee, and even cornhole leagues to keep the spring months full of excitement. Spring leagues begin in May. Registration opens on February 8th. Visit EdmontonSportsClub.com for more details.
when you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
It is Struddy's world, and we're all just living in it. Somebody sent that to me on Twitter today. Said that should be the new tagline for the segments. Time now for Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. With locations in Calgary and Edmonton, whether you're a homeowner, contractor, or builder, they're the most reliable source for vinyl fence. Opened in 2005. They're not going anywhere. Unmatched service, high quality, North American-made products. Visit dlrvinylproducts.ca. It's Struddy's world. We're all just living in it, Struddy. So what ride are you taking us on tonight, my friend?
The Mount Rushmore of great hockey players. This is a debate that I love having, and I think it's very interesting. I think there are some that are locks. Bobby Orr, Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky, and Gordie Howe. And I only saw two of them play. The other two I didn't see play. I've heard a lot. I've read stuff. I've seen, film some of them and all that stuff, which is pretty crazy. But I am prepared to now add the final piece to that group until Connor McDavid retires. I know this player is not retired. I believe he should be amongst those top five. Sidney Crosby. I think Sidney Crosby has been and was one of the most complete players we've seen. Scoring, puck protection, penalty killing, power play, face-offs, winning Stanley Cups, winning Olympics, winning all this stuff, all the different things he's done, putting the numbers up deep into his career. He's putting up good numbers. Solid leader, all those types of things you want to see. The challenge is that you have a guy beside him wearing number 8 in Washington that is going to probably break Wayne Gretzky's record. And how do you keep him? Yeah, well, fair point. And how do you keep him out of that list? Even if he even becomes one short, how do you keep him off the list? But I just look at if I'm starting a team, these are the 5 guys that I think I'd pick first. Out of all the players in history, these would be the guys I think would go first in that draft. So obviously this is wide open to conversation, Shocker, but I really think that Sidney Crosby, and this is just because he got to there, I think he is in amongst the top 5 players of all time.
Yeah, you make a good point. It's hard to argue that, right? Like, it really is hard to argue that. He's been so good for so long. Picture of consistency, does everything the right way, all aspects of it, offense, defense, leadership. He's won at every level. Like, he's just been unreal. And quite frankly, on and off the ice, for whatever that matters. But I have a hard time arguing with you, and I can't remember when did they do a countdown of the top 100 players? It was a major countdown. Now the NHL released it, but they didn't release it in order. Like, they didn't actually.
Yeah.
Remember that year they did all that.
Yeah.
Just kind of, I've looked at it quickly here, and they kind of just listed them alphabetically. I can't remember where Sid was on the list though. When was it TSN that did the top 100 players of all time? Someone did a huge one, and I think he was right up there. Like, I think he was right in the fray there.
Yeah. So let's look at options. I think that probably Jaromir Jagr is in that conversation somewhere. Brett Hull was an amazing goal scorer, but he wasn't the total. This is hard for me to say. Like, he wasn't the total package, right? He scored a ton of goals. But I wouldn't say he was a defensive powerhouse. Marcel Dion, Connor McDavid, who's coming up. He's another guy that could be in that conversation. Obviously, we don't have a goalie, which I cannot understand how in these top lists we never bring goalies in when we talk about how important they are. But, I think the Dominator could be somewhere around that conversation. So there's Mark Messier, the greatest leader of all time. So, how do you keep him out of there? Mike Bossy, another guy who could score a ton of goals. So I guess when you're looking at complete players, I kind of put Sid above those guys.
Yeah.
And again, we're talking the top 10, 15 players to ever strap a pair of skates on here.
Gretzky, Howe, or Massier, Sid, Rocket Richard, Bobby Hull, Doug Harvey. If you want to go back a little bit, Esposito, Lafleur, Beliveau. Like, man, there are so but Sid belongs in that. Like all those names I just mentioned, most of them, I mean, he belongs right in there for sure. No question.
And that's a great way of putting it. He's at the table. He's not looking from the back row. He's at that table of greatness.
Yeah.
And just in a crazy, crazy accomplishments he's had. Great career.
All right, that was Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. By the way, if people notice that I'm talking a little bit quieter tonight, like I'm not emoting with the same sort of volume in my voice, I'm actually, like I said, I'm in Saskatoon visiting my son. And he's got an awesome basement suite, but he actually has roommates that are upstairs, and they're college students. And so I'm trying not to keep the college students away. Although I guess it's a Friday night. What the hell am I thinking? I'm just trying not to be rude. So that's why I'm kind of at a half whisper tonight, Struds. Have you noticed?
Yeah, no, I noticed. I bet you don't want to disturb their board game going on above you. Probably they got a Friday night board game.
My kind of college students, buddy. Yeah.
Fictionary. Dominoes.
100%. Okay, a couple segments left in the podcast. When we come back, we're going to give away another one of these beauties, courtesy Kinprint and our good friends at DeBoers. So a little trivia and an opportunity to win a hat. And then we're going to get to our Ask Us Anything segment after a quick word from our newest sponsor, Belvedere Golf and Country Club.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has been delivering a high-quality golf experience to Edmonton and area. This beautiful private club, located on Highway 21 just south of Sherwood Park, occupies 160 acres and presents a challenging yet adventurous 18-hole design. A beautiful clubhouse, fully stocked pro shop, and warm, friendly staff truly make it feel like you belong to something unique and special. Visit www.belvederegcc.com.
Great track out at Bellevue, Struds. We've been out there a few times together, buddy. It's a great track. Many more rounds in the summer coming up, buddy.
Well, we're kind of 1-1, right? The one time I spanked you in the rain, and then
we played 7 holes. We played 7 holes in the rain, and we shut it down.
I'm a mutter. Grit.
The day we played a full round, I think I got you by like 3 strokes, didn't I? After you questioned my handicap and my integrity in front of everybody.
I did. Oh yeah, I did do that. But so we're 1-1. Like it's 1 win, 1 loss each. No. I think we agree on that. Let's agree to agree on that.
No, I'm up 1. 7 holes in the pouring rain absolutely means nothing. So look forward to it. Thrilled to have Belvedere Golf and Country Club on board here with the podcast. Time to give away another hat, courtesy our great friends over at DeBoers and Kinprint, who of course put these great hats together. And so once again, we're going to have a quick trivia question here. And what you got to do is email the answer to gotyourback18@gmail.com. We had an absolute ton of entrants in to the first competition that we did, and I do have a winner. Our winner is Wayne Kendrick, who was the winner of the first Got Your Back giveaway hat. So congratulations, Wayne, the Wayner. You can go to DeBoers and pick up your Got Your Back hat and your $25 gift certificate from DeBoers. Okay, trivia question for tonight. We haven't, not exactly putting hours and hours of thought into this. We just want to make you do like the tiniest little bit of work and then send an email. And by the way, subscribe and like all of our social platforms and stuff. That helps the cause as well. What day of the week did the Oilers pick up their first win of the season? Simple one. Take a look at the schedule. It's nice and easy. What day of the week did the Edmonton Oilers win their first game of the regular season this year? Send the answer to gotyourback18@gmail.com. If you get the answer right, your name will go into a draw. We will draw a name, and you'll pick up one of these awesome Flex Fit 110 Got Your Back hats, courtesy Kinprint, over at DeBoers, and a $25 gift certificate as well. So fire us your emails. Good luck. And looking forward to giving away some more hats here on Got Your Back. Steve, Why don't you hop in, my man? It is time now for our final segment of the night. Ask Us Anything, brought to you by the Shark of the Park, Renee Buclan of Maxwell Devonshire Realty. Whether you're buying or selling a home, your success hinges upon expert advice and services provided by your real estate agent. She's committed to providing clients with professional services based on experience, knowledge, and skills. Call Renee for a no-obligation quote at 780-994-0280. Steve?
Okay, so James Barrels asking about Gagne and when he's going to come back in the lineup. He said Gagne plays with some snot. They need more of that. It would be good to get bigger on the fourth line also. Just thoughts on his when he's going to come back, what he can bring.
He's not making any fourth lines bigger, that's for sure.
That's what I thought.
So who do you take out? That's a question, right? Do you take Janmark out? Do you take Connor Brown out? Do you take Derek Ryan? All those three guys kill penalties. So if you do that, you disrupt what's been a really hot penalty kill up till tonight, where I think they gave up 2. So that's a little tricky. So you have to, I put someone else in the penalty. Yeah, you could do it, I guess, for a night. Leon, I guess, could go in there and kill, or maybe Kane, I guess, has killed in the past.
Yeah, want to keep him engaged to a degree. I mean, Connor Brown, you know, he's a valuable penalty killer for you. He's still trying to do things the right way. It's tough, man. But on a good team, it's supposed to be hard to get into the lineup. You know, it's supposed to be. You know, maybe Derek Ryan, but again, right shot center, penalty killer. Like that's what Gagne's up against here. And adding Corey Perry without subtracting anybody, also a right winger. I mean, that was always going to affect Sam Gagner the minute that deal was done, Steve.
Okay, Bob's your uncle says, anyone else notice that the Oilers were not overpassing the puck as much as they usually do tonight? They were pulling triggers early and more often, to my eye. You notice that?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could say it. I mean, I
didn't
suppose.
notice
I mean,
it. I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
Much as I want to be agreeable to our commenter, I did not notice that, but maybe I missed it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that the Ducks are the best defending group. So I think, you know, I go back to the goal that Kane scored. Was that his first one or second one, where Perry knocks the stick out of the goalie's hands? He walked out of the corner untouched and shot it from the slot. Like, that's, you don't need to pass it when you have that lane to the net.
Yeah.
James Burrell says it was really nice to see Nuge using his shot on the power play. He hasn't done that enough lately.
Might be the first time I've seen him shoot on the power play this year where he didn't go high left side.
How do you get right into the slot like that and kind of clutch it and then shoot it? Like, how do you get in there? Like, that was, and I don't want to make fun, but it was, you know, he was right in the slot shooting that shot. Like, that is, exactly where you don't want the guy shooting the puck from.
Yeah, for sure.
VA says Connor Brown needs an exorcist. That was his comment when we were trying to give him good vibes.
Right, just something to change up the luck. You know, burn some sage or whatever. Or, you know, I've heard him. What's that, Struts?
Will it for tomorrow? It's all think about it as you sleep.
I think the word you're looking for is manifest. Oiler fan, you have the ability to manifest a goal for Connor Brown tomorrow. Start your manifesting.
Okay, Roshan Nelson said, if the Oilers need a big right-handed center, why is Ernie centering a line instead of Lavoie? Lavoie scored the overtime winner tonight with the top-shelf snipe. He dominated the AHL All-Star game. Call him up.
So they're wanting to call up Ernie, they're saying.
No, they moved Lavoie to center.
Yeah.
Oh, so call up Lavoie, they're saying.
Yeah, move him to center, call him up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I talked earlier in the year, Studs, about how, you know, Raphael Lavoie could potentially help this team at some point if he stayed in the minors and played enough minutes and built enough confidence and got his game to a point where he, you know, was playing a way where he had a chance to step in and make an impact. And that story might still be written here. Like, it really might. He's got that kind of ability, and he's got some size, and he moves pretty good. So I think keep on letting her buck, play big minutes, and if the need arises, he'll be ripe and ready, don't you think?
Yes, I don't think though that you can move a winger to center and then ask him to come to the NHL and play it. Like I think
Yeah.
that's a bit of a stretch. I think
Yeah.
that's what the texter was saying.
Okay, I missed that point. Yeah, I'm tired here.
Yeah, no, and that's why I'm here to just the wind beneath your wings. But I think that's I think what he's saying. That's a big ask. But I believe that next year Lavoie and Holloway are going to replace, well, for sure Fogle in Holloway's case, and then somebody else because they're cheap. That's probably Broberg, Lavoie, Holloway are going to take full-time spots because they're cheap.
You think Broberg will be here next year, hey?
I do.
I wonder how that whole thing has gone, like his comfort level, wanting to be here, all those things. He's playing great, playing big minutes and playing great. We keep hearing his name as a trade chip too, which I don't know why you trade Philip Broberg. I don't know why you trade him right now.
Yeah, it's a dangerous game because on the back end you're going to have some salaries go up in Vinny Desharnais. Bouchard's a year away, and you need some cheap players that can play. So I would park Broberg and Lavoie on the side, like as far as trading, because they're ready now. Well, I'd hope they'll be ready now to play on the team next year.
Steve, you can grab one more before you do. I'm going to take one here from DC. Says, guys, they're testing out new D pairs because management have a trade coming. They need to see other combos. It's pretty easy to figure that one out. Otherwise, you would never change the pairings. And that's something that we discussed yesterday a little bit, the idea that, maybe you want to see what else potentially works, because if you're working on a deal that's going to fundamentally change who plays with who, maybe you want to get a look at that ahead of time. And there might be some truth to that. But the more I think about this, Struds, the more I just wonder if they really just wanted to elevate Desharnais to see how he handled it. Really, at the end of it all, if that's not at the root of this.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of started out with here. I think that's the guy they want to see what he can do. And it's playing 20 minutes a night for a few nights is doable. But again, can you make those plays? Can you pass that puck up? Can you help? Because I think Leon needs someone that can move the puck like Bouchard when Bouchard's with McDavid. And right now they don't have that guy. And that's no disrespect to those guys, but I'm just calling it like I see it. You need someone that can move that puck up, and they don't have it.
All right, Steve, last one of the night, buddy, before we get to our gem of the day.
Last one, let's just give a shout out to Nabil Jaffer on the stream, who's joining us all the way from Myanmar. Myanmar? Is that how you pronounce it?
What?
Southeast Asia. Yeah.
Come on.
Fans all over the world. He says he's teaching, what do you say? He's teaching at a Canadian international school there. So
that's amazing. Oh, didn't he also say there's too many Leaf fans there?
Yeah.
Did I see that comment? Was
Way
that
too many
mine?
Leaf fans here, he said.
Like a rash spreading across the world.
That's amazing. And so Nabil was his name?
Nabil. Yeah.
Nabil. Well, thanks for tuning in all the way from me. I don't even know what time would it be in Myanmar right now. I have no idea.
Who knows?
Don't
different from Saskatoon, that's for sure.
Yeah, very
You're
different
embarrassing
from
yourself
Saskatoon.
right now.
Well, Oiler fan travels well, and Got Your Back fan travels well too, Struds. Every once in a while, I can log into the program that we use to push out the podcast and see some of our analytics. And the number of countries that people are consuming Got Your Back from it would blow your mind, man, how far Oiler fans, how far away Oiler fans are still trying to just grasp because they love their team to death, man. You and I are a couple of Mr. Worldwides when you look at that, man.
I love it. Well, all of our good Myanmarnians friends. I love saying hello to them.
That was impressive. For a guy who can't remember the simple slogan of a
Myanmarian?
That was impressive.
That was pretty good. That is really good.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, roll the music because we're going to do gem of the day pretty quick here. I'm ready for bed. Struds, what do you got, buddy, as we go to our gem of the day? Are you thinking of it right now, or did you have something in mind? I feel like you're thinking of it right now.
Yeah, if you have something, I don't. To be honest, there was a couple I don't want to. I hate calling my own number, but I mean, I pretty much could do it every night. Is there?
Okay, let's clarify something. Something. You don't hate calling your own number. You love calling your own number, and you feign humility by saying, well, I hate to call my own number. You love calling your own number. Just call your own number, buds.
That might be the gem of the day. You call me on the fact that I do actually like calling my own number. So I think you just won it. You just trumped my own trump.
What were you going to go with? I am curious what you're going to go with. I'll be the judge.
Yeah, there's a couple, but I was going to say, mention that the roommates above your suite there were playing board games.
Playing board games? Yeah.
It's a big,
it wasn't bad.
You're spreading out.
No, me calling BS on you. Oh, I hate calling my own number. Sure, bud. Sure, bud. We've been doing this together for 3 years, or 2.5 years. You do not hate calling your own number.
But I do love saying that too. I love that saying. I like calling my own number. I love that saying. I don't know why. It's just I like it excited when I can use it. So
now you're complimenting yourself on the saying that you choose to compliment yourself with. You find new ways to twist up ego and to display just a pure love for yourself.
But it's not like I invented that saying, so I got to give credit to somebody else.
You just use it a lot and sound.
I love it.
That's good. I don't want to call my own number. Okay, Struds, podcast tomorrow night post game.
Oh yeah,
I think we rumor has it we might have a Joaquin Gage sighting tomorrow night on the podcast. So
talk about cocky. That guy has a lot to handle.
I know. Big game tomorrow night against the Los Angeles Kings for the Edmonton Oilers. So we'll drop a pod after that one. Thank you so much for your downloads and your subscriptions. Appreciate you tuning in tonight. Steve, great job behind the scenes, my friend. And we'll catch you tomorrow night. Thanks to Sherwood Buick GMC as well, our fabulous title sponsors. Have a good night, everybody.